Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye. Nashtapraeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavatir uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtuki krishnaya vasudevaya devaki nandanaya cha nandagopakumaraya Govindaya namo namaha. Om Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuromilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagarajata Sagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namini Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Binda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji's Mataji's, welcome to this morning's discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam as part of the Bhakti Vaibhav session. So there are few messages from few devotees who I could not respond, and one of them is from His Grace Murli Prabhu, Murli Kari Prabhu. Prabhuji's father is hospitalized and is quite at an advanced age of 89. So we request all the devotees to kindly pray for Prabhuji's father's well-being, that if Lord so desires, then he recuperates and the father recovers soon and Prabhuji is back. Hare Krishna. And we have few other devotees like Venkata Nasima Prabhu, who have also got some family contingency, so they will need some time to resume back. Hare Krishna. So hopefully today's discussion will be the concluding part of chapter 8, which is entitled Kunti's Stuti, Queen Kunti's Prayers and Parikshit saved. So we saw in the beginning of this particular chapter how Lord Krishna is about to depart from Hastinapur after concluding his primary duties, responsibilities of Paritranaya Sadhuna, Vinashaya cha Dushkrita, after enthroning Maharaj Parikshit as the sovereign king of the entire earth planet. And then we subsequently see last few attempts by Ashwatthama to, to harm the Pandavas and also harm the last descendant of the Kuru dynasty, not just the Pandavas. Parikshit living the child growing within the womb of Uttara, the daughter-in-law of Arjuna and all the Pandavas. And we subsequently see Lord Krishna upon the fervent prayers of Uttara protecting the child, immediately taking action, covering the womb of Uttara and not leaving it for the Pandavas to protect the child because it was beyond their means. And then subsequently we saw the beautiful prayers being offered by Queen Kunti, who, although materially, externally seeing a lady who has undergone so many difficult situations, having begotten a child at a very early age, having been bereft of the protection of her husband, again at a younger age with young children in her protection. So she recollects one after another so many times that Lord Krishna protected her and her whole family from so many difficult situations. She starts offering prayers, seeing Lord Krishna depart. So first, she establishes the position of Lord Krishna that, my dear Lord, although because of material affection, sometimes I may have considered you as my nephew, but you are neither my nephew nor I can consider you just as a relative, materially speaking, who is offering respects to his aunt. In fact, Queen Kunti establishes Lord Krishna's position as the Supreme Personality of Godhead and mentions that although you are present on the earth because of the various types of coverings that cover the vision of both the materialist who are covered by whose vision is covered by the curtain of Maya, as well as for the devotees whose vision is covered because of Yoga Maya. So Mahamaya for the materialist, Yoga Maya for the devotees. So Lord Krishna's activities remain covered from from different people in this world, just like a actor in a particular costume and makeup. His activities, they remain a mystery to an ordinary observer who is not exactly aligned or who knows the specific particular steps of the classical dance and all. So he can appreciate probably the postures and the gestures, but won't exactly get the meaning out of that classical dance because that person is not aware of the nitty-gritties, the details of that classical dance. Similarly, Lord Krishna, although being seen with own eyes, he remains invisible to the non-devotees. Maya Javanika Channam. And then Queen Kunti Maharani basically says that only the great Paramahamsa devotees, they can understand the Lord. Then if that is the qualification to understand the Lord, she puts herself in a very humble situation out of her natural humility. As a simple woman, what is my chance of understanding you? I can not possibly understand you. And she starts glorifying those great personalities, different great devotees of the Lord, who have had the great fortune of having witnessed the beautiful pastimes of Lord Krishna. She basically starts glorification right from Vasudev, and then more fortunate than Vasudev being the Devaki, mother of Lord Krishna, and more fortunate than Devaki being Nanda Maharaj, and more fortunate than Nanda Maharaj being Yashoda Mai, and more fortunate than even Yashoda Mai being the damsels of Raja led by Srimati Radharani. And specifically the name of Srimati Radharani Kunti Maharani does not mention because of the position of Srimati Radharani being very exalted, and that description is only for the Paramhamsas, not for the ordinary persons. So she specifically avoids mention of Srimati Radharani herself. And then finally, Kunti Maharani also offers her obeisances to the lotus navel of the Lord, to the lotus face of the Lord, and finally, Pankajangre, the lotus feet of the Lord. So she offers her obeisances to different limbs. Although the natural sequence we saw is starting from the lotus feet of the Lord and going upwards, just to avoid embarrassment for Lord Krishna, Kunti Devi starts from the lotus navel of the Lord and ending offering her obeisances at the lotus feet. And then subsequently, Kunti Devi remembers all the great favors that have been done to her and even compares those with the greatly fortunate mother of Lord Krishna, Devaki, saying that how even the mother of the Lord was not bestowed such favors by Lord Krishna as she was bestowed, as Queen Kunti was bestowed. Because Kunti was more in a desperate and helpless situation compared to Devaki as well, specifically because Vasudev was there to protect and to support Devaki. But in case of Queen Kunti, she had lost Pandu at a very young age. So we discussed the point how greater the difficulty, greater the danger, the more will be Lord's protection, provided the devotee sincerely takes shelter of him. And we saw so many examples, including Draupadi, Dhruva Maharaj, Parikshit Maharaj, so on and so forth. That when the devotee is in total helpless situation, he is having all protection, provided the devotee sincerely takes shelter of the Lord. And then Kunti Maharani, after recollecting all the different dangers which the Pandavas went through, then finally offers a prayer that, my dear Lord, let those dangers, let those calamities happen again and again, because in that remembrance, then it is easier for in that calamitous situation, position, then it is very easy, natural for one to remember you. And when we remember you in that particular way, then there is no more having to face birth, old age, disease, and death. Then one doesn't have to see the face of death again and again if we remember the Lord. And Queen Kunti mentions that Lord is property of such devotees, Akinchana devotees, that is where we had concluded last time, who are materially exhausted. That means they don't have any other what you can say possession in their life apart from Lord Krishna. It is called materially impoverished, but that doesn't mean that impoverishment in the material sense, because we saw the examples. Not every impoverished person is a great devotee, and not every affluent person is a non-devotee. So there are so many examples of so many great sovereign kings of the world, including Prithu Maharaj, Parikshit Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj, who had the whole world at their disposal, but still they were completely detached. For Bharat Maharaj, it is specifically mentioned, the son of Rishabdev, that he left the beautiful home, wife, children, an opulence which was enviable even to the king of the heavenly planets, King Indra, just like a person leaves back one's refuge. We don't lament leaving back the refuge. We just feel it's disgusting. We just flush the toilet and we come out at it. We don't lament. Similarly, such great souls, even after having so many, all the opulences of Indra at their disposal, still they were not attached. So these persons are called by Queen Kunti as being akinchana. That means being totally materially exhausted. And she mentioned that Tvam akinchana vittaya, that such akinchana devotees, Lord Krishna is their vitta. Vitta means the wealth. Lord Krishna is their sole property and wealth. And now today's discussion, we will start with the group activity, which we had mentioned last time, how to develop this mood of being an akinchana, so that Lord Krishna is pleased to become our property as well. And we really treasure Lord Krishna's presence in our life as the topmost priority. How do we develop this mood of being an akinchana? So till now, whatever quick revision. Oh, so audio is low. Are you able to hear me, Prabhuji's, Mataji's?
Very low, Prabhu.
It's very low. Okay.
I can hear it loud and clear. Prabhuji,
No,
I
it
can
is-
hear loud and clear.
Prabhu, overall lower than
I
normal.
can also hear Prabhu.
Okay.
But
I
it's
can
a-
also
can
hear.
hear, but it is low, Prabhu. Everybody can hear. It's lower than normal, Prabhu.
Okay. So see, there are two options. If I log out and log in, or if I keep my video off, then
No, it's okay, Prabhu.
so all right.
For us, it is clear actually. Yeah.
Okay.
Prabhuji, it's okay for us.
Okay. Thank you. All right. And before I start, one more thing. Some of you, I haven't yet got the chance to come back on some of the requests. Sada Tushta Prabhuji, I'll call you later this evening, Prabhuji. Okay. Sorry for the delay.
No issues, Prabhu.
I'll
Hare
make
Krishna.
time today. Okay, Sada Tushta Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Dhanavad. All right. Any questions on the quick revision that we had on the chapter so far? Prabhuji's, Mataji's.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Just one doubt I wanted. This Akinchana Vittaya actually
Mhm.
means that mentally they are materially impoverished or they are actually poor. That is one doubt which I had. I could not get. Like, for example, can you call Amrish Maharaj as materially impoverished because he had money, but he did not care? Is that what they are telling, or they are like money? They are basically like Sudama. I could not get that.
Yeah, so the answer is neither. Materially exhausted doesn't mean just the materially being impoverished from the external sense. But what we mean is that although such great personalities as Rutu Maharaj, Bali Maharaj, Amrish Maharaj, Yudhishthir Maharaj, so on and so forth, although they had the sovereignty of the entire earthly planet, they were not attached to those possessions. They completely utilized those possessions in the service of the Lord. So Akinchan, that means that possession is not for my enjoyment, it belongs to Krishna. And the moment they got a hint that our job is done, now we should retire, they were totally unattached. So such persons are called Akinchan.
Sure. And
Is that all right?
Krishna is very
Yeah.
clear, Prabhu. So irrespective of their financial position, they feel that they have nothing and that doesn't belong to them, is materially impoverished. And for them, Krishna is their property, or they feel they are Krishna's property. That was my second doubt.
Yeah, for such persons, Krishna is literally sold out to them, as simple. So Krishna himself gives himself to them,
Sure.
right?
Thank you.
Like just an example, when Durvasa Muni was being chased by the Sudarshan Chakra of the Lord, when after going to all great authorities like Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, and so on and so forth, finally when Durvasa Muni went to Lord Vishnu, even Lord Vishnu himself mentioned his inability to protect Durvasa Muni. That he said that you have offended my devotee, so it's even beyond me to protect you. It's only my devotee, if he sincerely forgives, then you have any chance of protection, salvation. So that means to such great devotees, Lord Krishna is even he becomes subservient to the will of such devotees. And just a couple of more examples, like Narsimhadev becoming totally subservient to the will of Prahlad Maharaj, actually begging Prahlad Maharaj to ask something for his own pleasure, for Narsimhadev's pleasure. Or even Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu begging completely sold out to such devotees, and he wants to please those devotees. Hare Krishna. So now
Thank you,
we go. Hare Krishna. 1 second. Let me share the complete screen. Some of the points I have mentioned on the notepad, so please don't refer to them. I have specifically mentioned them for our discussion, and I need all of you to go through some of the group verses during the group discussion activities to come out with these points. Okay? Otherwise, those group activities will not be of much use. So let's proceed with the group activity, first group activity. Are you all able to view the slides?
Yes, Prabhu, we can.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes,
Okay.
Prabhu.
Oh, okay. So considering the 2-3 verses where Kunti Devi uses this word of akinchana, of being completely materially exhausted, the group activity is very simple. Go through these verses. Do we need the verse numbers? So 29, 28. So 26 to 29, when she mentioned the 4 types of fevers, which when persons have, it is very difficult for them to sincerely call out for Krishna. And then comes to the position of being akinchana, of whom Lord is their wealth. How do we develop this mood of being an akinchana devotee in our life based on the teachings of Queen Kunti? Okay, so ignore the second part. I want to keep it very simple. Come up with a practical ways of how do we develop the mood of being an akinchana devotee. Okay, and you can refer to the verses, some of these verses, and based on that, discuss within the group. So we will make 3 groups, not too many, and come up with the practical examples. So it's a very simple exercise, so don't take more than 5 to 6 minutes. 2 minutes to scan through the purports and 2-3 minutes to discuss. Okay, so let me make the breakout rooms. Activity is clear, Prabhuji's, Mataji's?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
Oh, okay. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji's, Mataji's, you had sufficient time to discuss, or did you need to rush?
We had enough time, Prabhuji.
Okay. All right. So we'll start with group 2 devotees. So the group comprised of Gunashri Mataji, Ishwari Murari Priya Mataji and Jagadananda Murari Prabhu, Rajashri Mataji, Lalita Vinodini Mataji, Prem Prakash Haridas Prabhu, and other devotees. We would request, if possible, those devotees who have not spoken so far many a times, if you are comfortable, you can represent the group. Prem Prakash Prabhu, who will be representing?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. It's me, Usha Kamath.
Hare,
Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, we all participated and
Mhm.
Usha Kamath Mataji is representing all of us.
Okay.
Everybody
Okay.
gave some ideas and contributions. Yes. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Sure.
So the group came to a conclusion that we can develop the ethos or mood of Akinchana by detaching ourselves intentionally from material life. We've got to work at it. It doesn't come that easily. We have to do it intentionally and consistently. And one of the ways of doing it is to detach ourselves intentionally from material life, but similarly attaching ourselves to everything that is associated with Krishna, that is becoming more Krishna conscious. Yeah. And
Yes.
if we do have these material possessions, if we are blessed with them, then we have to use it for the service of Krishna. In our practical example, now we were talking about, giving heartfelt donations for the construction of the temple now. So that is one of the ways that we can utilize the material possessions that we have. And the next is motivate others to do the same. And follow the Isopanishad principle very, very closely, the Ishavasya principle. That is, whatever we have, utilize only as much as is required for us. So follow the principle of simple living and high thinking by intentionally streamlining our requirements. Yeah. So it is something that we have to constantly work at, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. So if we quickly recollect what all Mataji and the group 2 devotees have mentioned, is to make conscious efforts to detach ourselves from whatever we possess, the mentality of that we are the owner, and connecting everything with Krishna, being attached to Lord Krishna, utilizing everything in his service, utilizing the Ishavasya principle that everything belongs to Lord Krishna and whatever he has allocated for us as our quota, accepting only that, not encroaching upon others' quota. And what was the last point you mentioned, Mataji?
Streamlining our requirement.
Streamlining.
Yeah.
Streamlining, yeah. Simple living and high
High
thinking.
thinking.
Thank you. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Anything else? Any other devotees from group 2 want to add? So Rohini Mataji, Shama Gopika Mataji, Venkata Narsimha Prabhu, and other devotees.
I think she has covered, Prabhuji, what we
Okay.
discussed. Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji. So next we will go to group 3 devotees who are Gita, Pradeep Kumar Mataji, Mamta Mataji, Mannat, P.S. Murthy Prabhu, Rasa Ragini Mataji, Raju Sundar Prabhu, Sadatushta Prabhu, and others who will be representing group 3. Yes, Prabhuji's Mataji's.
Gita Mataji will be presenting for us. Sorry, Mamta Mataji.
Okay, Gita Pradeep
Why am I
Kumar.
repeating?
Mamta
Manas-
Mataji.
Manas-
Okay, fine.
She's not here. I'm just. Hello, Manas?
Okay, sorry, repeat the name again. Manas Raut
Manas.
Prabhu. Okay. Yeah, I can see Prabhuji. Yeah, I can see Prabhuji. Manas Prabhu, you want to unmute? Hare Krishna.
Santosh Prabhu, go ahead and present. No, I think she's not able to. So, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. You start, Mataji. I will join you.
Sure. Hare Krishna Prabhu. I think typically one thing which Santosh Prabhu brought in very well is what is said in Hari Bhakti Vilas, right? The 6 steps or stages of surrender. Anukulasya sankalpa pratikulasya varjanam rakshishya kirti vishwashu gopitva sharanam tada sadvidde saranam.
Mataji, you're feeble, Mataji. Kindly.
Can't hear?
No, I can hear. I can hear.
It's clear.
Hare Krishna. Sure. So the 6 levels or 6 types of surrender, if we follow. So he was actually explaining, and we all spoke about it, wherein you understand the exact process, how to go about in surrendering. So that is the first point. While you very clearly explained to us that materially impoverished does not mean that financially you should be poor. It could be rich or poor, but how you relate by the Isha Vasha principle. Isha Vashamidam Sarvam Yetkincha Jagatyam Jagat Tena Tiktena Bunjita Magrita Kashyas Viddanam, which means that you think Krishna is the proprietor of everything and you are not the proprietor, you are part and parcel of Krishna, and just as we do everything dovetailing it to Krishna. So we see extremely materially actually poor Sudama as well as extraordinarily rich Amrish Maharaj, who have both surrendered onto Krishna. Chanaka Maharaj, who are Mahajans, Bhishma and all them, who are coming under the category of Akinchana. And how we can follow them is typically following their footsteps. And the classic example for us is we have all the 6 Goswamis who are actually financially very, very sound, but have proved themselves in the path and they've paved way for us to follow them. So we are all Rupanugas and we are already in the path, right? I mean, Prabhupada has been very kind and merciful to show us the path, show us the sadhana. It's just that we have to hold on to that and take it forward. Anything you would like to add, team and Santosh Prabhu? Hare Krishna.
And Madam Mataji, I want to add what the discussed was association with the senior devotees. Association is most important. They teach us how to give up all this, get into the aspiration mode.
Sorry,
Thank you, P.S.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. So the Prabhu is trying to emphasize the association of senior devotees.
Yeah.
Okay, that is one of the thing. And secondly, as we also progress in our Krishna consciousness, we need to always maintain our humility and try to be humble in our service. That is what Krishna likes in us. So that genuine humility is important. So with this, we can always please Krishna through serving our Guru Parampara. Hare Krishna.
Any examples these group 3 devotees want to give in terms of associating with a senior devotee, where the person who is associating he himself develop that mood of akinchana?
Prabhu, a lot of us, like for a lot of them, like Dhruva Maharaj is a classic example who aimed in getting money and position with Narada association, right? He actually completely gave up the material impoverishment. I mean, he did not want to have money. Despite of the fact later Krishna gives him Dhruva planet, he is not very keen to take that. So this is one. Next is Prahlad in the womb was associated with Narada. He was already the king of demons. So it was like a mini demon family, right? It was like sort of taken for him. But still he did not want to do that. He was, even though he had all of it, all he had to tell is, Dad, you're great, right? But he did not want to be a part of that, and he proved to be, materially impoverished because he wanted everything around Krishna. So there are many examples, but these are 2 strong examples one who's always been materially impoverished, and Dhruva who wanted to be having financial money, and when it came to him, he actually abandoned all of it. I mean, abandoned in the sense, mentally abandoned all of that. So that way.
So that is from the scriptures, from our own lives. When I look back, so we were living like animals before coming into Krishna consciousness, but the mercy of Namanista Prabhu and the devotees through whom we came into this Krishna consciousness movement, when we look back on the life what we are living now, it has totally transformed. So It is purely because of we coming in contact with devotees and taking up this Krishna consciousness movement. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank you, Sadadrushta Prabhu. P.S. Murthy Prabhuji, you wanted to share something?
Yeah, Prabhu, what you said is very correct. I mean, after in last couple of years, when we have come across the senior devotees like Ramnishra Prabhu and you, and I find the example of every fellow devotee in the class with many of who have studied with me since level 3. So, I'm learning every day I come to the class, I keep on learning. There is something which I have done and I take back home. So, and it is really, I wouldn't say a major transformation, but it is a step in the right direction towards transformation. A lot of things I have given up, Prabhu.
Thank you, P.S. Murthy Prabhuji. So now we will go to the last group, which is group 1. Who will be presenting from group 1?
I would like to give a few points, Prabhu. I think.
Sure.
So in order to develop the Akinchana means that it's fully, totally free from the material things, wherein that can be achieved only by the pure devotional service, Prabhu. So the pure devotional service in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, it has been given by Srila Rupa Goswami as Anya Abhilashita Sunyam Jnana Karmani Anavritam Anukulyesha Sankalpam Krishnanu Srilaram Bhakti Rutsari.
Anukulena Krishnanu
Shilam Bhakti Uttama. So that is the definition of it. That means whatever the benefits we are getting through jnana, karma, everything we need to live up actually. So one person who develops such an attitude towards the devotional service, that is a pure devotional service. That is the definition given in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And even in Nectar of Instruction also we have sloka number 3, Shrahan, wherein we need more patience actually. So Dairya. So 6 favorable conditions for the devotional service. Utsahan, Nishchayat, Dairya, Satat Karma, that means performing the activities, activities in favorable to the devotional service. That is having the Krishna in the center part and then performing all the activities. And having the association, like other devotees also mentioned here, the senior devotees association, following the footprints of the previous acharyas. These are all the favorable things to one to elevate into the pure devotional service. I request the other devotees also to continue.
Thank you, Dhanya Dhameshwari Mataji. Any other devotees from group 1 want to add? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, actually, how we can utilize our body, mind, and words, vacha, manasa, diya. So, suppose we have we have possession, we have beauty, we have name, fame. Then how we can best utilize for the pleasure of the Krishna, that we have to think. So that is the way actually. And the main thing, everyone has given 24 hours, but how out of these 24 hours, how much time we are investing in the Krishna consciousness, that is important. So because of that only, our Srila Prabhupada has given these morning temple programs, plus after that like Ekadasi and whenever festivals, so that festival celebration, so that our all these 4 possessions can be best utilized for the Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, VP Vilas Prabhu. So whatever points I had shortlisted, I guess all of you have covered most of them. Many devotees mentioned about taking association and serving devotees who possess this quality of being.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Krishna also told this one, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Saranam Vraja Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshayishyami Masata. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you, Vandita Mataji. So first point,
thank you.
Hare Krishna. associating with devotees who possess this quality of being an akinchana, like Rasaragini Mataji gives so many wonderful examples. We also have example of Prachina Bari, which was discussed in great detail by the morning Bhagavatam class devotees, that he developed such detachment even before the Prachetas were back. Prachina Bari had already left home to pursue Krishna consciousness. So serving such great souls like Narada Muni and all, who possess this mood of being an akinchana. One point I have not heard from any devotees, of course, you have explained that point in part which is referred to the scriptures. Like many of you mentioned quotations from Nectar of Devotion and other writings of the Goswami literatures like Hari Bhakti Vilas. So these are definitely correct. So all the literatures, different prominent literatures, which have been recommended by the acharyas, we will develop
One more.
the mood of akinchana,
Hare
detachment to
Hare
that,
Krishna,
giving fruits. Vandita Mataji, one second, please. You can raise your hand. Hare Krishna. Vandita Mataji, you can raise your hand, then we allow you to speak. Okay, so that we don't disturb the flow. Hare Krishna. So, reading the scriptures, giving part of our fruits in service to the Lord, this we discussed. Utilizing what we have in service to the Lord, recognizing Krishna's hand in everything that happens in our life. So that is also a way where we develop the mood of the session, if all of you are okay, so that we are able to cover the entire whatever we have planned. Hare Krishna. Vandita Mataji, you want to quickly mention what you
Hare
wanted to
Krishna,
mention?
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Nadhinam nadhinam sundarim kavitam vadagadishakamaye mama janmani janmaneshware bhavatat bhaktirahayate.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. And request for all devotees,
Thank
like
you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
whenever we are discussing, you can line up your thoughts in a way so that we are able to proceed quickly. Otherwise, we will go round and round. It will take very long to cover the verses. Divya Rukmini Mataji, you want to share something?
I just want to share, Prabhuji, this Mahajano Katena Panta. So we have to follow the footsteps of the acharyas
Yes.
and our devotee, our great devotees, and our Guru Paramparas, everything. So instead of, if we are referring some books, and it will maybe without following them, if you are referring some books, there is a chance to fall down and we will get the wrong instructions and all. So better to follow the acharyas, what they did, like how Dhruv Maharaj, everyone did, like that is my Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji. So when we say following the scriptures, we specifically, just to avoid ambiguity, we mean Srila Prabhupada's books. So there is no question of incorrectly following. Hare Krishna. So give me 1 minute. We proceed. The next part is after Queen Kunti has offered her prayers till the point of explaining Lord Krishna to be the property of the materially impoverished, then she proceeds in the next set of verses to explain how Lord's mercy is equal to all, and this we covered last time through the examples of the sun, the Ganges, and what was the other example we saw? Yeah, these two examples. The sun and the Ganges. Yes. So now we proceed with text 31 onwards. Yeah, so at the end of this particular section of glorifying various devotees who were in the mood of akinchana, being in akinchana, later in the concluding part, Queen Kunti glorifies the position of Mother Yashoda. Any devotee would like to recite through this verse, provided you know the meter, so that other devotees can. Yes, Shama Gopika Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Gopya dade tvai kritagasidam tavad yate nashashru kalilanjana sambramaksham. You want to repeat, Prabhu?
That's fine. You continue.
Okay. Vaktram niniya bhaya bhavanaya sthitasya samam vimohayati bhirapi yad bibeti.
Thank you, Mataji. The translation?
Yeah, translation. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. My dear Krishna, Yashoda took up a rope to bind you when you committed an offense, and your perturbed eyes overflooded with tears, which washed the mascara from your eyes, and you were afraid. Though fear personified is afraid of you, this sight is bewildering to me.
Thank you, Mataji. So, in just one
Hare
or
Krishna,
two.
Prabhu.
Hare
You have not
Krishna.
shared the screen, Prabhu.
Oh, is it? Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. My bad. Thought I shared. Is it visible now? The
It
screen?
has been visible from the beginning, Prabhu.
It is visible, Prabhuji.
Okay. All right. Devika Mataji, you can see it also?
No, Prabhu. I'll just log out and log in. We'll see.
Okay. Oh, wait. No need to log off. Let me stop sharing and share again. 1 second. Is it okay now, Devika Mataji?
Now it's coming up. It's coming up.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, Queen Kunti, just 1 or 2 verses back, she had used one specific word called Vidambana. Can anyone confirm what is the verse number? Vidambana, where she mentions that Lord, text 30th. Tat atyanta vidambanam. Kunti Devi mentions that Lord's activities are very, very bewildering. Not only to the common man, even to great devotee. Yeah, 30th, text 30th, she mentions Vidambanam. That means Lord's activities are very bewildering even to a great devotee like Queen Kunti. And specifically, she gives the example of Damodar Leela. She mentions how Mother Yashoda, and this verse as such is a glorification of Mother Yashoda. Why? Because such Supreme Lord who is feared by even fear personified. Such person is agreeing to be bound by the love of Mother Yashoda and is very afraid looking at the stick in the hands of Mother Yashoda. So Srila Prabhupada writes a wonderful purport, and all these upcoming verses, even the earlier ones, the purports are excellent and no way we can cover them all in all the details. So please do go through these purports, even those parts which we cannot cover sufficiently. Here is a specific example of the Lord's being the supreme and at the same time a plaything in the presence of his pure devotee. So the important word here is plaything, that Krishna completely becomes controlled by the love of such devotees. Plaything in the presence of his pure devotees. The Lord's pure devotee renders service unto the Lord out of unalloyed love only. And while discharging such devotional service, the pure devotee forgets the position of the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord also accepts the loving service of his devotees more relishably when the service is rendered spontaneously out of pure affection, without anything of reverential admiration. And this specific point, how Lord enjoys the chastisement by his intimate devotees who control the Lord by their love, that is more relishable to the Lord than devotees who are worshipping him reverentially. That doesn't mean that we haphazardly or prematurely change our mood from offering our worship to the Lord in reverence to being like the Lord and Master of the Supreme Lord. That is not artificial step. Even in Damodar Ashtakam, there is a beautiful stanza where Satyavrat Muni he sings. Where is that? Yes. Iti driksvalila ananda kunde swagosham nimajjantam akhyapayantam Tadiyeshitadneshu bhakterjitvatvam Puna prematastam satavriti bande. Satyavrat Muni only, right? Yeah. So who has glorified the Lord? He mentions that all these pastimes, the intimate pastimes of the Lord in Brajabhumi, they drown the devotees in the pool of ecstasy. Swagosham nimajjantam akhyapayantam. However, tadiyeshi tadneshu. However, those devotees who are in the mood of awe and reverence to everything that is related to the Lord, including Lord's opulence, Lord's position, they need to understand that Lord is completely conquered by the love of the unalloyed devotees. So that means Bhaktar Jitatvam. Lord is completely won over by the love of devotees like Yashoda Mai, Nanda Maharaj, so on and so forth. And that feeling of relishing by the Lord is much, much more than what Lord relishes when the devotee is offering worship in a reverential attitude. So basically, coming back to the verse, Queen Kunti is putting forth the position of Mother Yashoda at a much, much higher level in terms of devotional stature, even compared to her own self. Because Kunti Maharani knew Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whereas Mother Yashoda, Nanda Maharaj, these devotees, they never knew. In fact, at one particular time, when Lord Krishna showed Mother Yashoda the complete universe, Brahmanda, in his own mouth, Mother Yashoda for a moment started thinking that is my child an extraordinary child who is the creator and maintainer of the entire universe? Immediately Krishna covered the vision of Mother Yashoda with Yoga Maya, and she immediately again started considering Krishna as her own ordinary child. So Queen Kunti is glorifying the position of Mother Yashoda because Lord Krishna relishes dealings of chastisement by her to the child. Generally, the Lord is worshipped by the devotees in a reverential attitude, but the Lord is meticulously pleased. See the words Prabhupada has used. The Lord is meticulously pleased when the devotee, out of pure affection and love, considers the Lord to be less important than himself. The Lord's pastime in the original abode of Goloka Vrindavan are exchanged in that spirit. And then Prabhupada goes on. When Lord Krishna was present in this material world to manifest his eternal pastimes of the transcendental realm of Goloka Vrindavan as an attraction for the people in general, he displayed a unique picture of subordination before his foster mother, Yashoda. Yes, and the last line on the right-hand side, you can focus. Indirectly, Mother Yashoda is praised for her unique position of love, for she could control even the all-powerful Lord as her beloved child. So Queen Kunti is glorifying the position of Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna's analogue devotees who consider themselves as superior in terms of being protective about the Lord, not in terms of material superiority. So now text 32 onwards, the mood of Queen Kunti's prayers, it changes. Basically, after praising the great devotees like Mother Yashoda and other devotees who love Krishna in Vatsalya Bhav and so forth, Queen Kunti is giving the opinion of different authorities in terms of why does Lord Krishna appear in this world. So we won't be able to cover all the verses recitation. What we will quickly do is all of you go through text 32 till 35 and list down one by one whatever reasons you find that are mentioned for Lord Krishna to appear. So maybe take a minute or so to go through text 32 to 35. No need to go through purports. Purports you can go on later on. Just read through the translations of this 32, 3, 4, 5, 4 verses and list down the reasons for Lord's appearance. And then we discuss as the group. Hare Krishna. and devotees can raise their hands whenever you are ready with the reasons. Hare Krishna. Divya Rukmini Mataji, you are ready with the reasons? Why does Lord Krishna appear?
No, Prabhu, I just want to read
Okay,
that.
okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So there are total how many reasons? Let me see how many are documented. Four, five, 6 reasons are mentioned for Lord. Why? Oops, it is showing on the screen. Why Lord appears according to the opinion of different authorities. Vipin Vilas Prabhuji has listed. Good. Devika Mataji is ready. So once devotees are ready, we'll start with you, Devika Mataji. Hare Krishna. And each devotee can try and mention one reason. Okay. All right. Devika Mataji, you want to mention first reason what you have written?
Yes, Prabhu. In shloka number 32, it is mentioned that he is born to please the king Yadu. He is one of his dearest devotee.
Yes.
And, yeah, comparison is given that he is born in his family as a sandalwood appear in Malya's hills.
Yes. So can you explain, Devika? I don't know whether you got a chance earlier or if you have not got a chance to go through the purport. Can you think for a minute how does the example of sandalwood trees in Malaya hills relate to this Lord appearing in the Yadu dynasty?
In Malaya hills, it is very common. I mean, sandalwood appears is very common, no, Prabhu. So
yes.
I'm just thinking, Krishna will show mercy unto his devotees. It is so easily he will show the mercy on his devotees. I'm just thinking in that way.
Okay, okay.
Sure.
Any devotees want to explain this? The example of sandalwood trees in Malaya hill to Krishna appearing Yadu dynasty. How
Hare
he? Yes, Vipin Vilas bro.
Yeah, in Yadu dynasty, there are so many big, well-known kings appear. Like, same way, like in the Malay hill, there are so many big hills. But apart from that, Chandana trees are basically in Malay hills. So because of that, that it is well known. Same way in the Yadu dynasty, Krishna born, so that we can correlate like this. I heard.
Okay. Yes, yes. So Prabhupada explained this in the purport, and Prabhupada, how he mentions is, he says that, look, the sandalwood tree as such can grow anywhere. However, it prominently grows very well on Malaya hills. So the Malaya hills become synonymous with the sandalwood trees. There are so many devotional songs you would have heard, at least in Marathi, I am aware, where the sandalwood that is offered to the Lord is directly compared to the Malaya hills. Malaya Girisa, Chandana Gandhita, Tula Vahila, and Swikaravi Puja Ata, Uti Uti Gopala. So there is this song glorifies, it is like a song to wake up Lord Krishna, to offer him the sandalwood from the Malaya hill, sandalwood from the Malaya hill. So Malaya hill has become famous because of the presence of the sandalwood trees. Similarly, Krishna could have appeared in any dynasty of his choice, but because he has chosen Yadu dynasty, the Yadu dynasty has become very, very famous because of Lord Krishna's appearance. Just like Malaya hill has become very famous because of sandalwood trees growing prominently over there. Is it clear, Prabhuji's, Mataji's?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, so this is the first reason, Punya Shlokasya Kirtaye. That means such pious kings like King Yadu, to glorify and to give them pleasure, Lord Krishna appears in the Yadu dynasty. That is the first reason why Lord Krishna appears Now we'll proceed to the next reason. Ishwari Murari Priya Mataji Jagadananda Murari Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, because the world is overburdened as a boat at sea. That's one of the reasons.
Okay, and text, you have to give me text.
34.
34. Okay, all right. Hang on now. Others say that being overburdened, yes, by the boat at sea. Lord Krishna appears to remove that burden. So basically, this is the first part of Krishna book where Lord Brahma has gone along with Mother Earth in the form of.
Correct. And in the same verse, he said, Brahma prayed for you to appear to diminish the troubles of the devotee. Yeah.
Yes. So who appealed to Lord Brahma to let's go to the Lord? Who came to Lord Brahma? Mother Earth in the form of
cow.
In the form of cow. Yes. Thank you, Prabhuji. So this is the okay. Maybe sequence. We don't need to go into sequence as long as we cover all the reasons. Now next we will ask P.S. Murthy Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
It is to rejuvenate the devotional service of hearing and worship and
yes. So that this is the
hearing, remembering, and worship, etc.
Yes, Prabhuji. So this is the very important reason, and this is not one of the reasons, but finally the real reason. So we'll come to this in a while because we would need some more time to go through. Two reasons are done. Any other devotees? Divya Rukmini Mataji, you want to share something?
Vasudeva and Devagi prayed to get in their previous life they want to get child like Supreme Lord.
Yes.
So yeah, that is the one reason, and the same it's sloga. It's mentioning that he took birth to kill and the envious and envious.
Thank you. So two reasons are mentioned here. Earlier we saw two, so total 4 are done. Okay, and we will again see one slide where these 6 reasons I have jotted down. Any other devotees for the remaining 2? Shama Gopika Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes,
Prabhuji, I think this point is also covered. Brahmaji like worship Krishna to appear.
Yes.
To diminish the trouble. And also like for the glorification of pious kings is also covered.
Yes.
Mataji. Yeah.
Right.
So yes.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
And only that last one is hearing, remembering, worship.
All right. Prem Prakash Haridas, bro, you go first.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
The potency of Bhakti described in verse 36. If someone is hearing, chanting, and repeatedly doing transcendental activities descriptions, then automatically the cycle of birth and death or samsara disappears. Verse
yes,
number
so we will
36.
come to that. Yes, Prabhuji.
It's 35 no, Prabhu. 35 words, not 36.
Yeah, so both actually 35 and 36 both will cover in detail. So that is true, but that is the conclusion of Kunti Devi, why Lord appears. So before we go to conclusion, there are 2 more reasons which are remaining. So let me quickly cover. In text 33, there is also a line, Ajastvam Asya Kshemaya, which means Lord appears for the welfare of all people in general. That is given as one of the reasons. And what is the 6th point? Yeah, so Yadus and the pious kings are 2 different points. So that is, yeah, we have covered all the 6 points now. So quickly let's revise these 6 because these are important. Punya Shlokasya Kirtaye, for the glorification of pious kings. Yado Priyasyan Vavaye. That means to reciprocate with Yadus who were all great devotees. Apare Vasudevasya Devakin Yachito. Yachito means desired, Yachana. So Vasudev and Devaki desired to get a son. equivalent to the Lord, but it is not possible for any other entity. So Krishna appeared himself. Ajastvam asya kshemaya, for the welfare of people in general. Vadhaya cha suradvisham, to annihilate those personalities who are envious of the suras, devatas. Siddhantya bhuri bharena, so this is to answer the prayers of Brahmaji, who attended to the plea by Mother Earth in the form of cow. Hare Krishna. So now we go to the next verse, which is the real reason according to Queen Kunti for Lord's appearance. So let's try to recite this verse. Divi Rukmini Mataji, you want to recite and we follow?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Can you hear me, Prabhu?
Yeah, you want to say
Hare Krishna?
Devanagari?
Yeah.
Yes, I can hear you. You want
No,
to...
no, Prabhu. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay, Prabhu. Bhavesmin klishyamananam.
Bhavesmin klishyamananam.
Avidya kama karma bhi.
Avidya kama karmabhi.
Shravana smaranarhani.
Shravana smaranarhani.
Karishyanniti kechana.
Karishyanniti kechana.
Hare Krishna.
Translation?
Translation. And yet others say that you appeared for the sake of rejuvenating the devotional service of hearing, remembering, worshipping, and so on, in order that the conditioned soul suffering from material pangs might take advantage and gain liberations. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji. So here, see the words that are used by Queen Kunti and also by Srila Prabhupada in the translation. Prabhupada says the Lord appears to rejuvenate. Rejuvenate means something which has become dull or which has become like monotonous or boring, and Lord wants to emphasize it again, make it interesting again for the common conditioned soul. What types of conditioned souls? Who are avidya kama karma bihi. Because of ignorance, they develop a lot of desires for material enjoyment, kama, and because of those desires for material enjoyment, they perform all the activities which are like vikarma, which are like not supposed to be done, and because of these activities they get bound again in the cycle of birth, old age, disease, and death. So in order to alleviate the suffering of such people and to make devotional service very very relishable for them, Lord Krishna is appearing. And what is the solution that is given by Kunti Devi here? Shravana Smarana Arhani. Shravana is very simple, to hear about the Lord. Smarana means to remember the Lord, and Arhani means to worship the Lord. So Queen Kunti Devi is giving all these three steps by which we can make our own devotional service also rejuvenated. And this is also one of the reasons, but this is the main reason. And Prabhupada explains in the subsequent verse. Next verse is even going to be the root cause of Lord Krishna's appearance. So this as such is a secondary reason for Lord to appear, and text 36 is the primary reason. So don't get confused. As long as we know the reasons, it's good. But this is like conclusion from Kunti Devi of why Lord appears. So this is an important verse. We have already studied this as part of Canto 1, Chapter 3. Please try to recite. Any devotee would like to recite? Rasa Ragini Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Sorry, Prabhu, I'll do the next one.
Okay,
The Srimanti or the Krishna Krishna, last one. Thank you.
Okay. Gita Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji.
Saveda dhatu padavim parasya.
Saveda dhatu padavim parasya.
Duranta viryasya ratnakapane.
Duranta viryasya thangapane.
Yo mayayas santataya vidya.
Yo Maya Santaya
Jeta pada saroja gandham.
Bhajeta tatpada saroja gandham.
Hare Krishna.
Translation.
Translation. Only those who render unreserved, uninterrupted, favorable service unto the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, who carries the wheel of the chariot in his hand, can know the creator of the universe in his full glory, power, and transcendence. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you. So Queen Kunti is basically in the earlier verse mentioning devotional service to Lord Krishna, the rejuvenation of the devotional service for the devotees as the main reason for Lord Krishna to appear. And for somebody, and these type of instructions are given across many prominent verses, how the devotional service should be conducted. It should be aharituki apratihata, unmotivated and continuous without any cessation. Unreserved, uninterrupted, favorable devotional service to Lord Krishna. Whoever renders that, that person will gain the full devotional service, full glory. And this is the last verse in this particular section of Queen Kunti giving her opinion why Lord Krishna appears in this world. Yes, Rasaragini Mataji, please.
Krishna Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Shrimanti Gayanti Grinati Abhikshnasaha
Shunvanti
Gayanti
Grinanti Abhikshnasaha
Smaranti Nandanti Tavehitam Janaha
Smaranti Nandanti Janaha
Daiva Pashyanti Achirena Tavakam
Eva Pashyanti Achirena Tavakam
Bhava Pravaho Paramam Padambujam
Bhava Pravaho Paramam.
Translation.
Translation. O Krishna, those who continuously hear, chant, and repeat your transcendental activities or take pleasure in others doing so, certainly see your lotus feet, which alone can stop the repetition of birth and death. Hare Krishna. Prabhu, this is the primary reason, right? This is the primary reason.
Yes, this is the primary reason. Basically, this is an extension of earlier text where it is mentioned that who really can know Krishna. Okay, so yes, and this is the primary reason also, basically to inspire devotees to come to this particular platform of continuously hearing, chanting. So this point is very important. I see some of you had mentioned it in our group discussion activity. I think Prema, Priya, Jayashri Mataji had mentioned, or other devotees, that we should not only render devotional. Hare Krishna. We should not only render devotional service by ourselves, but we should also inspire others to come to devotional service. And more importantly, when we see other devotees coming to devotional service and they getting the mercy of the Lord, the ideal situation is we should never ever become envious. Kunti Maharani says we should take pleasure in other devotees advancing, in other devotees getting the mercy of the Lord. And this, we will see some of the examples from Chaitanya Charitamrita, how this specific quality of a devotee deriving pleasure seeing other devotees get mercy of the Lord is that devotee becomes very, very dear to the Lord. In fact, Lord is more inclined to give his mercy to such devotees who are happy seeing other devotees getting the mercy. So this is a very important quality that is being stressed by Kunti Devi. Shunvanti Gayanti Grunanti Abhikshnashaha. So these words, how they are separated, Shunvanti Gayanti is quite clear, hearing and chanting. Abhikshnashaha means continuously without any cessation, repeating. Abhikshnasha Smaranti, that means continuous remembrance of the Lord. And Nandanti means being relishing, basically being very joyful. Nandanti, whenever other devotees, they get mercy of the Lord, the real devotees, genuine devotees, they derive great pleasure. And this non-envious attitude of the devotees is what really impresses Lord Krishna. So this is very important. So there are many verses in the scriptures in Srimad Bhagavatam, and subsequently the point being mentioned in Krishna book about the primary qualities in the spiritual world, which is, it is non-envious. Basically, every living entity in the spiritual world is non-envious, and the example is given in Krishna book of a bumblebee. Anybody wants to explain this example, Prabhuji's, Mataji's, to explain how devotees are non-envious in the spiritual world? What happens to a bumblebee? We'll request other devotees who have not spoken at all. And I know for sure there are many who would know this example. Lalita Vinodini Mataji, Mangalmay Mataji, Mannat Chawla Mataji, and others, Prema Priya Mataji. Anyone wants to explain this example of a bumblebee from Krishna book? How the entities, all the devotees are non-envious in the spiritual world? Hare Krishna. Or other devotees. Yes, P.S. Murthy Prabhu.
Do I have your permission, Prabhu?
Yes,
Just to add the whatever has been said so far. Sri Krishna himself has wonderfully explained in chapter 4, Sadhunam, Vinashaya, Sudushkidam, Karma Samstapanarthaya, Sambhavam. Everything has been said. All that we
Yes, Prabhu. So that are the reasons, correct? Yes, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. So here question is about Lord Krishna especially being pleased with devotees who take pleasure in other devotees advancing in Krishna consciousness. Can we, this example from the Krishna book, anybody wants to explain? Dhanya Dhameshwari Mataji, Hare Krishna. You want to try?
Actually, Prabhu, I'm not able to recollect, but let me tell. Bumblebees, I think in one of the reference, I was able to make it out like Krishna's curly hair is related to the bumblebees which are rotating around him in the spiritual world actually. So that was the one
Yes.
I'm able to recollect, Prabhu, actually.
Okay, Mataji. So bumblebees getting attracted to Lord Krishna singing his glories is good. And the example is mentioned that bumblebee, how does bumblebee sound? What is the sound of a bumblebee as mentioned? Externally speaking, how do they sound? Bumblebees? The buzzing sound. Yeah, like that. So it is mentioned that when the bumblebees start glorifying Lord Krishna in the spiritual world, all other birds who have got a very melodious sound, including cuckoo bird and all other species, they completely become standstill and they want to hear very attentively what the bumblebee has to say about Lord Krishna's glorification. So they don't compete with each other that, okay, let me glorify Krishna even more fervently than what bumblebee is doing. They immediately give complete attention to bumblebee and relish what she has to glorify Lord Krishna. So this example is given that as soon as bumblebee starts glorifying Lord Krishna, all other species, including the cuckoo bird, which has got such a melodious sound, they immediately stop and they give full attention to bumblebee. So this shows, Prabhupada explains this through this example, how each and every living entity in the spiritual world, in the Vaikuntha world, Golok and so on, they are non-envious and they encourage each other to advance in devotional service. There is one more example which comes in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Probably I will add it on the slide. I showed the photo, but from the photo itself, it may not be clear. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was giving his mercy in Mahaprakash Leela to all the devotees, so he started from the maid servant of Srivas Thakur, whose name was Dukhi, because she was rendering a very menial service in terms of getting the earthen pots filled with Ganges water for the Abhishek of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and nowhere visible. She was at the end of the queue, bringing water and passing it to the devotees to be passed for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Abhishek. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave her mercy, all the devotees were very jubilant. And after granting mercy to other devotees, including Ganga Das, Ganga Narayan or Ganga Das Pandit, who was basically Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teacher, Haridas Thakur, and so on and so forth. Finally, only one devotee in the core circle of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu remained, and that devotee was Mukunda. And all the devotees were very anxious that, my dear Lord, you have called all of us and given your mercy, but why you are not granting your mercy to Mukunda? And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, just in order to intensify the feelings of all the devotees and also to teach us a very good lesson, he said that I am not going to give my mercy to Mukunda. And although all devotees had got Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, they were like very morose and very quiet. Nobody thought that, okay, forget about Mukunda, I have got the mercy, so let me be happy. Not at all. They were worried that one of our dear friend, devotee friends, he has been left out and he should also get. So then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started explaining that Mukunda, he worships me when he's in the association of devotees, but when he's not in the association of devotee, he beats on my head with a stick. And then he explains what is the meaning of beating on the head of the Lord. He says that whenever Mukunda is in the association of devotee, he will relish Krishna Katha, but then other times he will also give audience to the Mayavadis, and Mayavadis are like Lord Krishna's offenders, Mayavadi, Krishna Aparadhi. So he also gives them sincere audience to such offenders of Lord Krishna, which is like beating the Lord on his head with a stick. And therefore Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that I am not going to give my mercy. And when Mukunda, he is outside the courtyard and the house of Srivas Thakur, when he hears that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not going to give his mercy, he becomes very sad and despondent. Despondent not in the sense of being restless, but he is sad, to be honest. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, but maybe after 10 million lifetimes, I will give my mercy to Mukunda. And hearing this, all the devotees, they become very morose and upset that Mukunda is going to need 10 million lifetimes to attain the mercy of the Lord. But as soon as Mukunda, who is outside the home of Srivas Thakur, hears this, he starts jumping in ecstasy. He says, it is just 10 million births that I need to wait, and then I will be getting the mercy of the Lord. So basically, his example is also quoted to explain the importance of patience in spiritual life. That Mukunda, Prabhu, is teaching us patience through his own life, how we should not be impatient. We should be very patient to attain the Lord. And seeing the wonderful attitude of Mukunda, that even after Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told that he has to wait 10 million years, still he is jubilant that it is just 10 million years. After that, I will get the mercy of the Lord. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu calls Mukunda inside the devotee circle, embraces Mukunda, and basically mentions that not 10 million lifetimes, I will give you in this lifetime itself. And then all the devotees become all the more jubilant and happy. So the point we are trying to explain is Kunti Devi explaining how devotees should be smaranti. Sorry, what is that line? Shunvanti, Gayanti, Grunanti, Abhikshnashaha, Smaranti, Nandanti. Nandanti means being jubilant, being very happy when they see other devotees also getting the mercy of the Lord. Any questions, Prabhuji's, Mataji's, why this is the conclusion of Kunti Devi? Hare Krishna.
One has to develop these type of qualities, Prabhu.
Sorry, come again, Mataji.
Yeah, a devotee has to develop such type of qualities.
Yes. And it has also been mentioned in the Srila Prabhupada's purport that this particular quality of being non-envious and appreciating other devotees getting the mercy, it attracts Krishna's heart so much, even if we may have tens of misgivings. Still, Krishna will accept us if he sees us in such non-envious attitude towards devotees. He will be very, very pleased. Okay, so let's proceed if devotees don't have any question. And this is the last section of Queen Kunti's prayers. After recollecting the favors done by starting with the position of the Lord, her own position as a simple woman, glorifying various devotees, explaining the concept of Lord belonging to the Akinchana, and expressing her gratitude. Finally, Kunti Devi is making a final appeal to the Lord. And while making this appeal, Kunti Devi is having a great dilemma in her mind, what to do, and we will see why that dilemma exists. And I think you're seeing all these points in one go. It should be one by one. So apologies for that. Let's go through the verses first. Text 37 onwards. Yes. Vipin Vilas Prabhu, you want to recite or you want to read the translation?
Just Prabhu, one question regarding
Yeah.
this previous discussion. As you mentioned this Mukunda's example, as he was hearing in sometimes from Mayavad, so because of that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given this what we discussed. So just my question is that sometimes there is some actually good songs from written by the Shankaracharya. So can we recite, Prabhuji? Because some like Kaivalya Ashtakam, which glorifies the Harinam, plus this Charpat Panjarika, that is also like glorifying only Govinda only. So just this is my question. So just I want to clarify.
See, it's, to be honest, dealing with the writings in the Mayavadi literature is a very dangerous thing. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself has cautioned devotees that Maya Vadi Bhashya Shunile Hoi Sarvanash, that our devotional service, our spirit to render devotional service to Lord Krishna is destroyed by hearing Mayavadi Bhashya. So while there are certain glorifications of Lord Krishna, especially by Shankaracharya himself, Bhaja Govinda, but we have sufficient Vaishnava songs available by our own Vaishnava Acharyas to do that glorification. And to be honest, a personality like Srila Prabhupada will be like, those devotees who really have the mercy of the Lord, they may be able to make a demarcation between the Mayavad writing and proper glorification of Krishna. But in our state, there is a possibility that just by that association, we may lose our desire to render service to Lord Krishna. So it's very risky. It's dangerous, Prabhuji.
Okay,
so just to be on safer side, we prevent. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
So now Hare Krishna. Now we go through the final appeal by Queen Kunti to Lord Krishna. And this appeal is not being done selfishly, that whatever happens to the Yadus, I don't bother, you just stay here. This appeal by Queen Kunti shows her dilemma, how worried she is both for the Yadus and for the Pandavas. We will see this in the verses. Any devotee wants to recite maybe just one verse? Dhanya Dhameshwari Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. So, verse number 37, Prabhu.
Yes.
Prabhu. Jitha Shashi Srit Suhrudo Anuchvinah Kesham Natanya Bhagatha Padam Bujat Parayanam Rajeshu Yojitam Hasam.
Okay, translation.
Oh my Lord, you have executed all duties yourself. Are you leaving us today, though we are completely dependent on your mercy and have no one else to protect us? Now, when all things are at enmity with us.
Yes, so even seeing this final appeal by Queen Kunti is very touching, that after she has glorified Lord Krishna for protecting and supporting them through all the calamities, when it is finally time to say goodbye to Lord Krishna, she is basically offering this appeal to Lord, that, my dear Lord, you might think that you have finished your duties, including annihilating the envious and demoniac brothers Kauravas and enthroning King Yudhishthir as the sovereign king of the entire earthly planet. Krishna might think that my job is done and I can leave now. Kunti Maharani is saying that there are two effects of the success what the Pandavas have had. First effect, Kunti Maharani, initial part of the prayer, she mentions that, I don't want to be proud for whatever you have given. She presents herself as a humble lady. So first after effect of a success is either one can become proud, and it's not either, plus there is a possibility of others being envious just because of one's success. So that also automatically follows. And Kunti Devi is worried that now Pandavas have become the rulers, especially Maharaj Yudhishthir has become the sovereign king of the entire earthly planet. There still would be some kings who will be very envious, and who will protect the Pandavas and Queen Kunti. Basically, she is worried about having to lead life in absence of Lord Krishna as their family member. For so long, Krishna has been one of their own, living with them, that Kunti Devi is becoming very, very restless now when it is actually time for Krishna to leave. So we will read through some part of the purport. Dhanya Dhameshwari Mataji, want to read through the highlighted part?
Yes, Prabhuji. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada to Jai. The Pandavas are most fortunate because with all good luck, they were entirely dependent on the mercy of the Lord. In the material world, to be dependent on the mercy of someone else is the utmost sign of misfortune. But in the case of a transcendental relationship with the Lord, it is the most fortunate case when we can live completely dependent on Him. The material disease is due to thinking of becoming independent of everything. But the cruel material nature does not allow us to become independent. The false attempt to become independent of the stringent laws of nature is known as material advancement of the experimental knowledge.
Thank you, Mataji. So here the Pandavas are glorified because of them being completely dependent on the Lord. And Prabhupada explains that how the need to depend on somebody is not considered very nice in the material world. Say, for example, a person who is staying in a rental apartment, we always try to get our own home. Why? Because then we are not at the mercy of the landlord. Whenever he wants, he asks us to vacate. So nobody in this material world likes to be dependent as much as possible. But this dependence in a material sense may not be appreciated much. But in the spiritual sense, dependence on Lord Krishna is very much appreciated. Why? We will see that in the later part of the purport. The highest achievement.
The highest achievement of perfect civilization is to work with valor, but at the same time depend completely on the Lord. The Pandavas were the ideal executors of the standard of civilization. Undoubtedly, they were completely dependent on the goodwill of Lord Sri Krishna, but they were not idle parasites of the Lord. The perfection of life is therefore to become dependent on the will of the Lord, instead of becoming falsely independent of the material world. Those who try to become falsely independent of the Lord are called anatha, or without any guardian, whereas those who are completely dependent on the will of the Lord are called as sanatha, or those having someone to protect them. Therefore, we must try to be sanatha so that we can always be protected from the unfavorable condition of the material existence. Thank you.
Thank you, Manoj. See, such a wonderful purport Srila Prabhupada has written that by being dependent on the Lord does not mean that we don't put our efforts. We do put our full effort, full endeavor. Prabhupada mentions here, where is that line? Yes. Undoubtedly, they means the Pandavas. Undoubtedly, they were completely dependent on the goodwill of of Lord Shri Krishna, but they were not idle parasites of the Lord. That means they did not give up the effort from their side, although Lord Krishna was personally present from their side. So try our best and leave the rest. And it is also mentioned that we endeavor as if everything is in our hand. But when it comes to accepting the results, we accept whatever comes by the will of the Lord, knowing that nothing is in our hand. So effort-wise, we put full efforts, but dependence-wise, we remain completely dependent on the Lord. And Prabhupada mentioned that such devotees who, while trying their level best in their endeavor, finally still depend on the will of the Lord, they are called Sanat. That means they have a master who is owning them, who is willing to take their responsibility. And those persons who just try on their own effort without seeking guidance and refuge in the Lord, they are called as Anath. That means without any guardian. So there is, and we can see the example just yesterday in the Marathi Bhagavatam, we were discussing the example of Jay and Vijay. Inadvertently, they happened to offend the Chatushkumaras. And what happened after they offended Chatushkumaras? Who tried to protect them? Who took their side? For Jay and Vijay, who protected them? Yes, Prabhuji's Mataji's?
Lord only.
Lord Vishnu,
Lord himself.
yes.
Lord himself.
Yes. Lord Vishnu immediately came at the gate of Vaikuntha and he begged pardon on behalf of his servants. He told that whatever mistake my servants have done, that means I own it. So, my dear four Kumaras, please excuse me because my servants have done mistake. And then Chatush Kumaras basically give option because they could not retract the curse. They gave option to Jai Vijay that either you take 3 births as demons or you take 7 births as devotees. And obviously, we also read from Prabhupada purport that it was Lord's own will to enjoy Viryaras, and he had his own devotees perform that role of being his apparent enemies for 3 lifetimes. But the point to note here is that because Jay and Vijay, they were Sanat, even when apparent mistake in judgment happened, error in judgment happened from their side, Lord Vishnu was to Chatush Kumaras. Lord Vishnu owned that mistake and in a way saved Jay and Vijay. Is that all right, Prabhuji's, Mataji's? The concept of Anath and Sanat? So now we proceed quickly.
Yes, Prabhuji.
All right. So we will just go through the translation because we have around 10 minutes remaining. As the name and fame of a particular body is finished with the disappearance of the living spirit, similarly, if you do not look upon us, all our fame and activities, along with the Pandavas and the Yadus, will end at once. So this is Kunti Devi's dilemma, that if she asks Krishna to go, then Yadus will suffer. The people on her paternal side, the Vrashnis, the Yadus, they will suffer in separation from the Lord. And if Krishna leaves Hastinapur, goes to Dwarka, then Pandavas will be like body without the soul. So they will be completely lifeless, not having Krishna in their life. So Queen Kunti is clearly in the dilemma, how she should ask Krishna to stay back. O Gadadhar Krishna, our kingdom is now being marked by the impressions of your lotus feet, and therefore it appears beautiful. But when you leave, it will no longer be so. So this is her pure, fervent appeal that how Pandavas and her own self should leave after Krishna's departure. All these cities and villages are flourishing in all respects, Because the herbs and grains are in abundance, the trees are full of fruits, the rivers are flowing, the hills are full of minerals, and the oceans full of wealth. And this is all due to your glancing over them. So Kunti Devi knows for sure that all this opulence and prosperity in the kingdom is not due to Pandava's own endeavor, but it is only because Lord Krishna is staying with them. And basically, she is acknowledging the favors that Pandavas have received and even are receiving now because of Krishna's presence. All the purports you can go through separately. Yes. So basically, in the previous verse, we saw that Kunti Devi's dilemma: if Lord Krishna leaves, then Pandavas will be like body without soul. And if she insists on Lord Krishna staying, then the Vrashnis and the Yaduts, they will suffer in separation from Lord Krishna. So in order to get out of this dilemma, Queen Kunti is basically requesting Lord Krishna that, my dear Lord, I have had enough of these familial affections and the connections. I don't want to be bound by these familial affections and attachments anymore. Please do sever my ties with the kingsmen. This is an important verse. So this verse and the next verse will recite. Any devotee wants to recite this verse? Prabhuji's, Mataji's. Hare Krishna. Vipin Vilas Krishna Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, धन्यवाद प्रणाम. अथ विश्वेश विश्वात्मन्
अथ विश्वेश विश्वात्मन्
विश्वमूर्ते स्वकेषु मे
विश्वमूर्ते स्वकेषु मे
स्नेहपाशम् इमं छिन्दी
स्नेहपाशम् इमं छिन्दी
दृढं पाण्डुसुवृष्णिषु
दृढं पाण्डुषु वृष्णिषु.
Translation.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O Lord of Universe, Soul of Universe, O Personality of the Form of the Universe, please therefore sever my ties of affection of my kingsmen, the Pandavas and the Vrishnis. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Queen Kunti Devi is here requesting those ties of material affection to be severed from her near and dear ones, including the relatives from the husband's side as well as relatives from the parental side. So Vrashnis and the Pandavas. And then one may think that Kunti is not living in an ordinary family setup. She is living in a family setup where nearly each and every person of the family, if you consider the exception of Dhritarashtra, who again became reformed later on. But if we leave aside the exception of Dhritarashtra and so on and so forth, she is living in a family where each and every member of the family is a pure devotee of the Lord, including Uttara, Draupadi, Pandavas, so on and so forth. But still, she is asking Krishna, requesting Krishna to sever the ties of affection with her near and dear ones. Why? Because she wants her mind to flow constantly towards the Lord, that she explains in the next verse. So this is again a very famous verse, text 42. Any devotee would like to recite through this verse? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prema Priya Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Tvayi me ananya vishaya.
Tvayi me ananya vishaya.
Matir madhupate sakrit.
Matir madhurpate sakrit.
Ratim udvahatat ardha.
Ratim udvahatat ardha.
Gange vaugham udanvati.
Gange vaugham udanvati.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Translation. Oh, Lord of Madhu, as the Ganges forever flows to the sea without hindrance, let my attraction be constantly drawn unto you without being diverted to anyone else. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So finally, Queen Kunti is submitting herself to Lord Krishna in this final appeal that let my mind be drawn towards you, just that the Ganges gets drawn towards the ocean and finally meets the ocean. Let my mind also be attached to your lotus feet, O my Lord. And this concludes the most important part of the chapter, which are the prayers of Queen Kunti. Actually, text 43 is the final prayer. I'll just read out the translation here. O Krishna, O friend of Arjuna, O chief amongst the descendants of Vrishni, you are the destroyer of those political parties which are disturbing elements on this earth. Your prowess never deteriorates. You are the proprietor of the transcendental abode, and you descend to relieve the distresses of the cows, the brahmanas, and the devotees. You possess all mystic powers, and you are the preceptor of the entire universe. You are the Almighty God, and I offer you my respectful obeisances. So then, subsequent part of the chapter is about Lord Krishna's trying to pacify King Yudhishthir, who is lamenting, considering himself as the reason for death of all the Kshatriyas in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And this particular part, all of you can go through on your own, text 44 until text 52, where the chapter ends. And this forms the background of the next chapter, where Lord Krishna, by his own sweet will, he lets Yudhishthir Maharaj still be lamenting and not being able to fully convince himself. Even after Lord Krishna's explanation that, my dear Yudhishthir, you are not the cause of these many Kshatriyas losing their lives. So finally, it is Krishna's desire that King Yudhishthir be guided by whom? Whom does Lord Krishna want Yudhishthir Maharaj to get instructions from?
Bhishma Deva.
Yes. So this is the setting by the Lord for the next chapter, for King Yudhishthir and the Pandavas to be brought in front of Bhishma Dev, because nobody remembers or knows, but Krishna remembers that my pure devotee Bhishma is on his deathbed and he wants to take my darshan. And at the same time, Lord Krishna wants Pandavas to take instruction from Bhishma Dev on how to properly rule the kingdom. So this part, all of you can go through, Prabhuji's, Mataji's. Let me go back to the slides. 1 second. Yes, so here I have only showed the photo. All of you can go through the verses. And here we conclude chapter 8, which is King Parikshit saved and Queen Kunti's prayers to Lord Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Till today, everything I have uploaded in the drive, the video recordings till today's. And you will upload this as well, right, Prabhu? The slide also you will upload whenever you can.
Yes, I will upload straight away.
From our side, taken care, Prabhu. When will we have the exam? The coming week, Sunday? Or the week after?
Yeah, so I just want all of you to relish the chapter and take sufficient time to let me know whenever you are comfortable. I don't want even a single devotee to be stressed. Okay, I got a feedback, not from our group, thankfully. I got a feedback from Bhakti Shastri Hindi group, not specifically for me, but from one Mataji, that Prabhu, whenever you announce exam, my BP increases. So we don't want devotees to face this, okay? I told her, is the question paper difficult? She said, no. Then I said, then it should not, see, Krishna consciousness, we should relish. As long as devotees relish and feel positive about understanding Krishna consciousness philosophy, learning from it, then I am fine. The chapter is slightly bigger. It is
the week after next, Prabhu.
verses. Okay, Mataji, yeah. So
Prabhuji,
you get
that will
comfortable.
happen even if you
Thank you, Prabhu.
blood pressure problem will happen, Prabhuji, even if you postpone for 1 year.
Yes, Prabhuji. Correct. So I the point is, as long as all of you, Hare Krishna, 1 second, as long as all of you try your level best and read through the translations, the purports, that is the sufficient preparation. So don't bother too much, even if you somehow not able to make threshold, as long as the effort is fully put. Okay, so let's do one thing. Rasaragini Mataji, we will have 2 slots, one
Sure, Prabhu.
next weekend and one subsequent weekend. Yeah.
Sure, Prabhu. Done. So next
Hare
Sunday
Krishna.
and the next week, another Sunday. Is that perfect, Prabhu?
Yes, yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Prema Prakash Haridas Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, you had formed the Bhakti Vriksha. We had 4 meetings and they are functioning excellently well.
Okay,
Yes, Prabhu.
okay,
Yeah.
Prabhuji. Actually, I am observing some of the activities in the WhatsApp group for Bhakti. They are really inspiring. I want to join as well after getting few things settled here. Thank you. Thank you very much.
One
Hare
doubt
Krishna.
is